I'm Corbett Wall with DB Auction, here with your feeder flash for Friday, September the 27th, brought to you by the National Beef Wire. If you guys haven't been getting on there yet, you need to do it and get it saved there on your phone. NationalBeefWire.com has the most news, market information, real-time feeder cattle prices. Got this report on it every day. It's got channels you can go on there that feature just a plethora of anything cattle, and you guys need to get on there and check it out if you haven't already done so. At 2 Ronald, we're going to talk about that a little bit more, but it looks like McDonald's is caving under pressure and going to start offering some fake meat product too. So they just keep dogpiling on us. I'll tell you what, if it's not Ocasio-Cortez and all the environmentalists and griping about the cow farts, if it's not them, if it's not the Packers, it's the fake meat people. And I tell you what, we just about had all we can stand. But the Twitter campaign has been going real well, fair cattle markets. If you guys haven't been doing it, let's finish on through the week strong. We've got to do it here on Friday and over the weekend too. But please get on there and send a tweet out that tags real Donald Trump and also includes the hashtag fair cattle markets. And we've been getting along pretty good. I see that there's a push wanting everyone to do it at 2 o'clock Central Time on Friday. If we'll do it at the same time, it'll make a bigger imprint. So if you guys can think about doing that, maybe if they could send a message out. But 2 o'clock Central Time on Friday, maybe we could all send a bunch of tweets in there all at the same time. But the timing couldn't have been worse. Our president is under another attack from the Democrats. They're trying to get an impeachment started. They're doing a lot of pushes on that. It all has to do with a stupid phone call that he made to a country over there that had to do with some crooked stuff that it appears that Joe Biden was doing to help his son. I don't know all the ramifications of it, but when I start hearing about all that, it kind of reminds me of the quote that Harry Truman was given credit for, saying you can't get rich in politics unless you're crooked. I did research that a little bit. They said he didn't say that exactly in so many words, but they kind of paraphrased that quote out of something that Harry Truman had said one time. But it's pretty good, and if you think about it, I think it's fairly true. But well, we're getting ready. We're still having a big push and a lot of excitement going on about the big rally to stop the stealing in Omaha. Hope you guys can make it. I'm getting very encouraged. I was talking to Christy Christensen from Kimball, South Dakota at the Kimball Livestock Exchange there. They've got a big sale coming up on Tuesday, and they're still going to make the rally on Wednesday. So you guys that think you've got something to do, they've got their customer appreciation sale at Kimball, South Dakota on Tuesday, October the 1st at 11 a.m. They're starting a sale. They do have a brisket meal there for everybody and all the trimmings. Got 2,000 head of good cattle there at Kimball, South Dakota, and then at 4 o'clock in the morning the next morning, which I'm sure they're probably going to be up fairly late, getting cleaned up and getting things squared away and getting balanced out from the sale there on Tuesday. But they're going to leave at 4 o'clock Wednesday morning with a whole bus full of people headed for Omaha, Nebraska for the big rally. And I talked to a lot of other people that are going to be heading in there. So let's make it work. Let's make it a good deal. What else is going on? Oh, NCBA did something finally. They sent out a scathing press release disparaging the RCAF and OCM right ahead of this rally that we're getting ready to go to, and it's unbelievable that that's what they decided to do. But with all the assets and the resources that they've got, the biggest thing that they've done pretty much through this whole mess is send out that press release. But you know, it's right back to what we've been saying. We've got these 3 or 4 different associations here that are connected with cattle production, and they're all squabbling amongst themselves. Who's going to get the credit for this? Who did a better job doing that? Who's going to get more money? They're fighting over checkoff dollars when they know damn well NCBA is going to get the lion's share of it. They tried to get U.S. Cattlemen's Association mixed up in it and tried to get them in the squabble, and I'm almost certain that they're not wanting to get into that. But, the bottom line is the people that they're supposed to be trying to help, your producers and your ranchers out there, they don't give a shit which one gets the credit. They would get behind anybody. They don't care who gets the credit. They don't care who leads the charge, and they don't care who's in charge of those different associations. They just want somebody to do something. And so whenever somebody decides to do something and a bunch of people get in behind them and try to support them, then the ones that are left out, they get their feelings hurt and they start striking back like that. But I tell you what, it's ridiculous. But, the cattle industry is needing leadership right now in a bad way. And they don't really care where it comes from. They want some leadership, and they're looking for anybody to lead the charge. And they don't care. This Twitter campaign, that come from a publication. That didn't come from an association. I know Joe Goggins helped it out, but that came from a cattle publication. And so, it could come from anywhere. Anybody that wants to stand up and push. Even a pissant YouTuber like me can get involved in it and get a big push. But we need leadership. We need somebody to do something. We don't need anybody playing favorites. But the bottom line is to try to keep this cattle production way of life viable and profitable. Even just a few of the years. It doesn't have to be profitable every year, but you have to be able to raise a family, pay your land taxes, keep your payments up, and have a reason to keep fighting. Was talking to an ag lender on Thursday there, and he said it's just so sad. I've told you so many sad stories about people saying that they weren't going to allow their children to be in the cattle business and the ranching business because they don't want them to have to go through all the stress and the heartache that it causes. Now, if that doesn't break your heart, he was telling me people were coming in. He wasn't pulling their notes or anything. Guys were just coming in and basically throwing their hands up saying, what do I need to do? Is it even worth continuing to fight? And that is a sad, sad situation when you got these packers reaping these huge, huge profits and basically just kind of sitting back like hyenas waiting for everybody to fall so they can go in there and fill that vacuum. But it's absolutely ridiculous what's going on. But I talked a little bit about the McDonalds falling in with everybody else. That's why I said et tu, Ronald. We thought that they would probably hang with your meat producers. That's gotten to be such a big deal, mainstay all around the world, McDonald's, and they have totally exploited people's love for hamburgers all over the world, not just the country, all over the world, and yet they're still going to fall in with the trendy thing of trying to find some kind of a fake meat burger there. And so they're going to call it the McDonald's PLT, plant, lettuce, and tomato. I don't know who come up with that, but I can't think of a worse one. Who wants to eat plant burger? I mean, if you were going to serve it to them, I don't think I'd tell them straight up what they were going to get. But it's going to be a product from Beyond Meat, probably just because Burger King was using the Impossible Burgers. But I hear they're closing a bunch of stores up here pretty soon, and now the McDonald's is doing it. I don't know if we're going to be able to keep boycotting every damn place that decides to start serving that, or be kind of hard to travel across the country. But we're sure not going to eat any of that fake meat. But they're going to start this out. They're just sticking their toe in the water with 28 locations in Ontario, Canada. So that's a good place to try it out. But it did cause that Beyond Meat stock to go up 11.6% during trading on Thursday. You wonder how all this come about. Well, the former McDonald's CEO sits on the board of Beyond Meat. So it's all tangled in there, kind of like your politics, kind of like your cattle associations and everything else. it's all intertwined and twangled. But anyways, they were saying that the core product that they're having to buy, they're not sure exactly how it's going to work. You're not going to be able to cook it the same as their beef burger, and really rely on it to have quality and to be healthy, because that stuff has a shelf life too. We're not sure exactly how they're going to handle that. And the core product, the base product of it, is about 3 times higher than ground beef. But I bet you they figure out a way to make it comparable in price. But that's how much extra gravy is out there, guys, that your cattle producers are missing out on. I say it almost every day. In 2018, we set an all-time record for your cattle producer getting the smallest percentage of the retail beef price. In 2019, we're going to blow by it like it was standing still. Let's look at the board. On Thursday, October live cattle futures down 5 cents at 102.95. December up a quarter at 108.75. The board's been pretty supportive all week long, and nobody can really see why. I think it has a little bit to do with this grassroots movement that everybody's hearing and everybody's seeing, and they know that your producers have flat had enough of it. They're going to fight back. Maybe in a losing battle, let's hope not, but they're going to fight tooth and nail, and we're getting in the thick of it right now. September feeder cattle down 7 cents at 141.50. It's going off the board there pretty quick. October feeder cattle up 65 cents at 143.10. Your fat cattle trade did not really get going, and on mandatory price reporting, which got all the sales that had happened, or all the ones they'd put in. Who knows if it's all the ones that had happened. Sometimes they drag their feet putting them in. But up through 2 o'clock there on Thursday, and they missed most of the trade. But we did have trade in the northern plains at 165. There was a little dribbling of maybe 167 to some regionals. There was at least some bids out there for the really top quality cattle, but that 165 was pretty widespread in the northern plains dressed. That's $2 to $3 higher. There was some 103 and 104 in the northern plains on a live basis, but the southern plains we still haven't heard anything about yet. But with your spot live cattle futures sitting at 102.95, basically 103. I think they're going to have a hard time getting your southern plains to take anything less than 103, and they may want 104. They'd like to get a little bit of a basis in there, but right now they're working negative basis if they take 101 or 102. But it's on Friday, and the board's been pretty good this week. Probably be some profit taken. It's likely to be a little bit lower and spark some trade there. But anyway, we've been running pretty good this week with everybody knowing that there's a little bit of resistance out here to what all's being done to your cattle person. But anyways, another thing that happened on Thursday is we saw that the Japan-U.S. trade deal that Trump struck with Japan is going through. It's going into its early phases. He's going to back off the tariffs on the Japanese cars, and then they're going to back off on some of our ag products, including beef, and so we should start seeing a lot more trade exports of our beef going to Japan, and that's a good thing. We'd love to get them back as big a customer as they were before we had the mad cow deal break out, and they've kind of left us pretty much ever since then. But box beef cutout values kind of mixed on Thursday. Choice cuts $213.51 down $1.12. Selects $190.39 up 56 cents. Got a choice select spread there that's still huge, $23.12, and that is a giant spread there, and it's staying that way. Your slaughter has been very good, 467,000 through Thursday. That's exactly the same as last week when we had that huge kill. And it was 10,000 less than the same time a year ago, but they're more than making all that up on Saturday, guys. But your actual slaughter data come back for September 14th that week, and your average dressed steer weights actually dropped 2 pounds, 891 pounds there. So that's doesn't mean a whole lot, but at least they didn't keep zooming like they did, gaining 9 pounds over the previous report last week. But let's talk about your feeder cattle markets. That's what everybody wants to hear about, something that's competitive that we enjoy hearing about. Your real-time index on Cattle Market Central. Late in the day on Thursday, sitting at 141.71. That's up 97 cents, and we've just seen steady gains on that RTI all week long, no matter where our volume come from, whether it was in the southern plains or the northern plains or what was going on. We've just seen steady gains right there. But look at some of your sales on Thursday. Pratt, Kansas, winter livestock there, 3,350 head. Feeder steers, this is called by Market News. Feeder steers 2 to 3 higher. Feeder heifers steady to $6 higher. Steer calves $2 to $5 higher. Heifer calves were really not well tested. Did know kind of a lower undertone on there. But look at this automated marker report from Cattle Market Central there out of Pratt, and you see the best tested weights. Let's look at the steers. 600 head of 8-weight steers averaged 872 at 140.56. That was about $3 higher. And then on your heifers, the best tested weight was your 7 weights. 447 head of your 7-weight heifers averaged 763 at 135.31. Let's go up into northern Kansas. Farmers and Ranchers Livestock, Salina, Kansas, 2,700 head there. My friend Lonnie Peets was covering that market. He made the trip over from St. Joe. He called it steady to $7 higher. Basically, he had it all split out, but not going to spend all that time to tell you about it. But let's talk about some other individual quotes that happened on Thursday. Bluegrass Stockyard South, Stanford, Kentucky. Now, it hasn't been that long ago. We couldn't get $1.40 for an 8-weight steer, even a load of them. And now we've seen some big gains here in the last 2 or 3 weeks. And now in Stanford, Kentucky, they're selling them like they do in the Sand Hills of Nebraska. Look at this quote. 67 head, a load of 824-pound steers, $149.75 in Stanford, Kentucky. Got to put a lot of wheels under them to get them where they're going, guys. And then Mocan Livestock had another one of their specials. They've been having those. They've had 3 or 4 big specials here in the last 6-8 months. But the Herzogs there, Jim and his boys had a hell of a good sale on Thursday. Look at this quote from them. 350 head in one whack, 744-pound steers at $1.56. And that's your feeder flash for Friday.